Hello and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports, and it is official. The Jacques NIENABER era for the Springboks has come to an end, and he has officially linked up with Leinster ahead of this weekend and this next month of rugby, which is a very important time in the season, really. We've got URC obviously really starting to ramp up. We have got Champions Cup coming up in a few weeks, and one of the best sides in the world in Leinster, who have not won anything for a couple of years now, and very much underperformed in that perspective for the last couple of years, in that they are basically the majority of the number one international side in the world, or what was the number one international side in the world in Ireland, and yet again have lost twice now in the last 2 years in the Champions Cup, for example, have not gone to a URC final since the competition has actually started. And so they went shopping and they went and recruited the Springbok ex-head coach now, and one of the, if not the best defense coach in the world, in Jacques NIENABER. And it was a brilliant move, really, from them, to be perfectly honest. And I think it is probably exactly the kind of thing that they're going to need. Especially if you're looking, for example, at the season. If we look at Leinster, they have conceded quite a few points, quite a lot of tries over the season, and attack wins you games, and defense wins you titles, really. And we're now talking about a coach who has overseen his players for a Rugby World Cup victory, but he's been part of a setup that has won 2 Rugby World Cups, the British and Irish Lions series, and stupidly good defense at the end of the day. And I think that's what he's going to bring to Leinster is, a defensive system, a defensive attitude, really, that is world class. And that Leinster coaching staff, it just gets better and better. To think about the fact that they've just taken the Springbok head coach and made him an assistant coach who will take care of the defense, shows you the ambition and the pool, and really, and just how well things are being run at Leinster at the moment, that they can get someone of Jacques' pedigree and qualities in as part of their coaching staff. For South Africans, I don't think it's the end, and I think he said it, he doesn't think it's the end. So I do think we will see Jacques NIENABER back in South Africa, and probably potentially even back in the Springbok system in the future. But for now, it will be with Leinster. And if you look at some of Leinster's results over the last couple of weeks, over this weekend, they beat Munster at 21 points to 16. Before that, they beat Scarlets 54 points to 5. And before that, it was 33 points to 10 against Dragons, 36 points to 27 against Edinburgh. The first beating the Sharks 34-13. And in that first week, they actually went down to the Glasgow Warriors 43 points to 25. So obviously, as the Irish Stars have returned, their results have been getting better. But we're now talking about, going into the major parts of the season. And for them, they need to compete on all fronts. They'll be looking to win the URC this season as well as to win the Champions Cup. And last season, they were almost a bit guilty of being a little bit arrogant, I think, at times, with what was said, and talked about the fact that they don't really care about the URC, and they didn't care that they'd be knocked out because they're going to go win the Champions Cup. And they didn't win the Champions Cup. So they need to go win titles now. And I do think that they are a side that are in a golden era. And they've always been such a top-class side. But really now, you look at that squad, you look at the players they've got, and it's absolutely mental. So in terms of the upcoming games, they've got a La Rochelle showdown next week, in fact. So it's a repeat of the Champions Cup final, and it's in France. This weekend, they play against Connacht in an Irish Interpro. They've got Sale Sharks in December, and then a Munster-Leinster Boxing Day rematch. And that will be at Thornton Park. So some pretty big games coming up for Leinster, and it'll be very interesting to see the differences we see in them. Jacques NIENABER is going to have to start implementing a defensive system, not necessarily from scratch, but he's going to have to sort of basically sit with the coach and work out how his defense system integrates with how Leinster currently play and Leinster want to play. So what will be interesting to see is there going to be an instant improvement in the defense, for example? Are we actually going to see potentially the opposite? Because often, and this is what we're seeing a little bit with John Plumtree, whilst you're implementing things and whilst trying to get systems right, the results don't always go your way because things are changing and you make mistakes while you're still getting used to the system. So I'm just very keen to see exactly what the impact's going to be on him, and I think he's going to bring so much to that side. I think it's good to see as well, South Africans, that no one's upset about it. No one's sort of really angry he's left. Everyone's actually pretty proud of him, and very cool for him as well. I think maybe to a certain degree to sort of leave Rassie Erasmus behind and be able to go and sort of do his own thing a little bit and sort of move out of that shadow, which I think if you've got to know the relationship they have and if you've been around enough, there isn't that situation. But a lot of people don't give him the credit he deserves because he works hand in hand with Rassie Erasmus as other coaches and stuff like that. And I think now, when we start seeing Leinster defense become really good, and I think we will see that, you'll know that that's him pulling the strings there. But yeah, let me know what you think. Is he going to be the difference? Are Leinster going to go suddenly and win titles with Jacques about around? What do you guys think? Down in the comments below. Please do smash a like on the video. Please do subscribe to the channel as well. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Steve. I'll chat to you soon.